The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests.
What is going on, my Ghost Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 344. We are streaming live, as always, on YouTube to over 150 countries worldwide. We're also testing out streaming over on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. If you're out there on either side, go ahead and say something. We don't know that you're out there unless you do. If you're out there, like I said, always say, we do not promise to make you any smarter. Honestly, we just hope not to make you any dumber. But if you are out there, go ahead and say something. We do not know that you're out there unless you do. If you're watching this in replay or listening in podcast form, the conversation does not have to stop right now. Utilize that comment section below. And if you're on podcast and you listen to us, then go ahead and rate, review, and share. It does help in every little way. If you like to text into the show, yes, you can text into the show. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends over at Wilder Tactical. That phone number is 530-364-4678. And go check out our friends over at Wilder Tactical. Some of the best gear out there. Great people, great friends of mine personally and of the channel, obviously. But go check out wildertactical.com. If you are a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in that darkness, and you're looking for the light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I cannot give you medical advice, but I might be able to walk you through some stuff. More importantly, just be a shoulder or an ear to listen. If you are looking for someone to get you towards some medical attention, remember two things. One, you are not alone in this fight. You have a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please, utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline. That number is 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255. Veterans, press the number 1. We are spotlighting, as always, the United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title of United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And as always, we are proud members of the Self-Defense Radio Network and the Firearms Radio Network. Go check out all your favorite Pro Gun, Pro 2A podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net and firearmsradio.net. Let's get this off of my ugly mother. Hey, how you doing? He caught Kyle there. Got his hand in the cookie jar. From Anderson Manufacturing, we've got the Wild Stallion himself. What's up, Kyle? Woo-hoo.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Always, brother. How's everything going at Anderson? You guys been pretty busy, huh?
Yeah, everything's going great, man. Getting some deals ready for Flag Day and Father's Day. So,
yeah,
just
can't wait
busy,
to see what those are. Can't wait to see I can't wait to see what the Father's Day and Flag Day specials are. Yeah, Friday is Flag Day, isn't it? I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, that might be G-Web's one of his favorite holidays.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so, absolutely. From the weirdest state in the union, the only state that has 4 letters and takes 2 people to spell it out. From the 740, we have Chris. What's up, man?
Not much. Thanks for the invite, man.
Man, every time I see you've got a different AIM surplus hat on. Do you have like one for every day?
I think I have a few.
Yeah, those are sweet hats, by the way. But man, it's like you've got different colors. And Kyle was talking pregame about like a camo one that was, I guess, there at the range day they had.
Yo, sick! If y'all get a chance, check it out.
Well, you can probably go to AIM Surplus's website, I guess, couldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sweet hat, great logo. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know what AIM Surplus is, Chris, you want to tell them a little bit about it? I mean, I know it's not your company, but you work pretty closely with them.
Yeah, they're mainly a big online gun and gun accessory store. They actually do have a storefront down in Monroe, Ohio. So was it kind of in between Cincinnati and Dayton, right, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're in the area, it's an awesome place to go check out. But their website's real easy to navigate.
There you go. All you got to do is go and Google Foo AIM Surplus, and I'm sure that website will pop right on up. What have you been up to, man?
I hadn't done much. Wife and I had the anniversary over the weekend, so
snap!
So that cut into a lot of the gun time and all that.
Today's Chase's anniversary, so happy anniversary to our boy Chase out there. He's feeling a little under the weather the last couple of days, so I don't know if they're going to do anything tonight or not. He might be getting like IVs instead of steak or something,
Ooh, yeah.
But
steak via IV. How about that?
I mean, a blendered up liquefied steak. I don't know. I can't imagine that being any good, but a filet milkshake. That just sounds terrible. But oh well. And from the great state of Texas, the gatekeeper of all things Texas Pride, and it is Pride Month, so we have the grand hoo-ha himself. What's up, Clove?
Man, Pride Month and hoo-ha in the same sentence.
The king hoo-ha. The king hoo-ha of Pride.
Careful with that. My goodness.
The king hoo-ha of Pride. That's the man right there.
A little racy up in here.
It could be a lot worse, man.
Yeah, definitely could be. Chase could be here.
Yeah. Here's the reason why Chase doesn't get links very often. I'll send him links when we go off air, and sometimes he'll jump in. No, I'm just kidding. There was a time that Chase was doing everything he could to get me kicked off of YouTube. So
I thought you was gonna say there's a time I can drink my cares away.
There you go. So let me get a little chatter from the chat out there. We were talking pregame in the locker room here and talking about maybe going live one night and getting the guitars out and singing a little bit. And anyone that wants to join the panel is welcome to do it. You just have to bring a guitar and be willing to sing with us a little bit. So if that's something that might interest some of you fools, let Clover and I know. We could probably have some fun with that. That would be kind of interesting, I think.
Probably, maybe
it might just be like a special edition Ghost and Clover guitar time or something, you know?
So here's an idea. You could do it. You could do it on the Ghost and Clover. And Ghost and Clover, and then ours, we lock it down to members only.
On our individuals, yeah, absolutely.
And so the only way that the public could actually watch it,
is to go to the Ghost and Clover channel.
Yeah.
Do AR guitars count?
You know, I'm a big, I'm a big fan of air bands. You know, I have an air band, Air Supply. And,
you know what? If you're willing to sing,
if you're willing to sing with a tennis racket or AR or something, then we can make that happen. But you got at least the minimum is you got to be willing to sing. If you're not willing to sing, then just
I have the voice of an angel, guys. We're good.
Like any instrument would count.
Angel of Death.
Or sing. Yeah.
My vocal range is spot on, guys.
AB says he's game. You know that could be one of those things where so like if Kyle wants to be a singer,
Hootie picks friends too,
and someone's willing to play guitar for Kyle, that could work.
Oh, I'm gonna special request ukulele.
We could get TJ or Snob on here playing ukulele. I mean, that could work. Jacob says, "Oh, a bit of karaoke." Yeah, buddy. Let's go. Let's go. What's the shotgun of the week today?
I want to bring up a company that I found in the last week or so that
you found. Is it called Benelli? You just found them?
Yeah, right. Yeah. This company called Beretta. Chicago Mike out there was telling me about.
Just discovered them. I hope they make
Beretta.
it big one day. They're going to take over the world one day.
Shout out to Chicago Mike, man, for turning me on to that, dude. Nice company. I think they're going places, man. I do. Hilarious. No, there's a company called it's a very unique name now. I mean, it's called Connecticut Shotgun Manufacturing Company. So
Man, that took a lot of I bet you it took them
worked on that for
weeks to
weeks.
figure that out.
They
Yeah.
had to have worked on that for weeks, but no, I found them. They do man, they do over and unders and side by sides, like beautiful, beautiful shotguns. Looks like they start in the yeah, go figure in the $2,000-$2,500 range,
Why wouldn't they?
and run all the way up to like 50 grand. So,
Yeah.
but they're pretty awesome. They're pretty awesome looking shotguns.
We'll take one of each, please.
Yeah. If you want to, if they're out there, I'm sure they're listening. I'm sure they follow me because I'm that big. They can certainly send me a few.
AB out there says, I play guitar, bass guitar, violin, viola, and piano. I really don't care that you play Frank Viola. I don't want to know how you play Frank Viola. I'm imagining maybe a little bit of that could come into play, but I don't need to know why you play Frank Viola. He seems like a nice guy. I don't know why you'd want to play with him.
Oh, I was fixing to say maybe that's why he signed so many autographs, but that was Frank Tanana.
Frank Tanana, yeah, Tanana the banana. Yeah. Jacob's taking this way too seriously. He's like, mics might cut out between the singing instruments. You know what? That's a risk we're willing to take.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be, the sound's going to be horrible, even if you have good microphones.
Because even if it was good microphones, everyone's internet's going to be lagging a little bit, so it's going to be way off.
That's going to be
way
bad.
off.
Yeah.
But we had to just go around the room and say, all right, I'm going to play the first verse, and then you play the second verse. We're going to play a whole song with 4 different people. There's something to that. We could figure it out.
Basically, Jacob's saying he's in it.
And
Jacob's in. Yeah, Jacob's in.
Even if you don't play, go down to the pawn shop, pick up a $100 guitar. Let's do this.
Well, he said he wouldn't know half the words in these songs. You know what? That makes it even better. Just make up your own words. Hell, I do that all the time.
You've got the internet. You've got the internet right here. How hard is it?
Yeah, so we'll see. You guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, and Monday over on our YouTube community tab at 10 a.m., we put out the pony polls. Let's go check out the fun we had this week. First one's got over 1,000 votes. Real quick, which would you guys rather play, kickball or pickleball? Kyle, kickball or pickleball?
Dude, I don't want to brag on myself right here, but I'm a kickball all-star. Like you and TJ
need to team up then. Apparently he's a Hall of Famer also.
I kick nothing but home runs.
That's all I know. Balls?
That's all I know how to kick. Is a home
I kick dingers. Chicks dig the dingers.
Chicks love dingers, dude.
That's right.
Dinger. I say it every time too.
I bet you do.
That's a dinger.
That's a dinger. Let's hear out in the chat with you guys. Kickball or pickleball? Clover, what about you? Kickball or pickleball?
Kickball, definitely.
Yeah. Christopher?
I'm going kickball because I don't even know what the hell pickleball is.
It's ping pong on a shrunken tennis court, man.
It's old man tennis.
Yeah, we have a ton of people at our club that plays pickleball. We turned in our tennis courts into a bunch of pickleball. Spent like $150,000 on it. It's big. It's like it's a big thing now, and it's basically using literally a wiffle ball with a enlarged ping pong paddle on a court that is about the half the size of a tennis court. It's weird. It's very weird, but it's insane.
It's trending.
They've been trying to get me to play for a while. I said, I'm 10 years too young to play pickleball, guys. Come back in a decade. I might be ready to go.
Yep.
It is. It's an old man sport. Or TJ. TJ loves pickleball. He also plays on a competitive kickball league program too. But that's why I came up with that question. It's the TJ question. TJ, I wish he was here tonight, but he's probably playing pickleball right now. So
I'd like to actually know the legit rules to kickball, because like we always just
there are actually rules. I don't know. So let me ask you guys this, because when we play kickball, like and you let's say you hit a grounder to second base, were you guys trying to throw the ball to first base, or are you trying to peg the runner? We always peg the runner.
Headshots only.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Like apparently it's an actual rule that you're supposed to actually throw it to a base like baseball. But dude, we would just try to just hammer people with the ball.
That's my main question is like, can you get them out by striking them with the ball?
All right, let's find out. Official rules of kickball hitting someone. Let's see. In kickball, it's generally not allowed to hit a runner with the ball unless they are sliding. But there are some exceptions. If a runner is hit in the head or neck with the ball, they are considered safe at that base they're running to unless they were sliding or ducking. However, if the runner intentionally uses their head or neck to block the ball, they're out. If a player throws the ball at a runner's head or neck, it is an immediate dead ball, and all runners advance one base. Multiple throws at a player's head may result in a warning or an ejection from the game. A fielder can hit a runner who is not safely on a base with a kickball, and the runner is out unless they are hit in the head or neck. So
that ain't the way we played.
We played if there was no throwing it to a base. It was all about just nailing someone. That's what made it fun. It was dodgeball on a baseball field is basically what it became, and that's what made it fun. So,
dude, I would just always be like, yeah, you leaned into that, dude. you leaned into that. You're out.
You know, I'm like, you know what? I just knocked you out. You're safe, but you're out. So, you know. Yeah. AB says it had to hit below the waist. That could be just as dangerous. Like that's hitting the head on the below the waist head is probably worse than the normal head. Just saying. But that's I was up in Alaska. You know, I mean, they're just weird up there. Yeah. Freaking walking around Eskimo suits all the year long. They probably couldn't feel if they hit anyways.
Well, half the year is dark and they can't play, so they only play.
Either that or they're just throwing it wherever because they can't see. It's dark at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I hear they don't have electricity up there yet.
Do they have running water or indoor plumbing?
They're still in igloos.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't eat the yellow snow. Yeah.
Have you ever had yellow snow? It ain't good. Not that I would know, but I've heard it's not good. Yeah. All right. 79% are correct that say kickball. 79% say kickball. That's probably smart. All right. This is a good one. It's got over 2,000 votes. This is one of my favorite questions I've put out there, and it has sparked quite a conversation on this one. Which car would you choose? Bandit's Trans Am, James Bond's Aston Martin DB5, or the General Lee? You only choose one car, boys. You can only, and you know what, Clove? Since you're complaining, you get to go first.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I go Bandit.
You go Trans Am? Okay. Hey, there's not a wrong answer with this. 100%. Yeah, Chris?
I went with the General Lee.
Okay. All right. Hey, the old school Charger is pretty badass. AB says you're not playing kickball until you played 8 inches of powdered snow. I guess not. Wow. Kyle, Trans Am, General Lee, or Bond's Aston Martin?
My jerk reaction was, and what I voted for in the poll was General Lee.
Okay.
But now I'm thinking about this Aston Martin.
Oh, it's
like,
bad,
doesn't
bro.
it? I'm not very familiar with the 007 movies. I've seen them all, but only one time. This Aston Martin, does it still have like the pop out
It's
guns?
got the gadgets, baby. It's got the gadgets.
I'm going Aston Martin.
That's my boy right there. Yeah. That's my boy. I'm going Aston Martin. I love all of them, but the Aston Martin, if you do get caught, it's got defensive ways of getting, the oil slick, the smoke. It's got freaking cannons, machine guns. It's got everything you need in that thing. Plus, you can, if you don't like the person you're riding with, you can just eject them out. It's pretty cool. See ya. Wouldn't want to big you. No, can't get wrong. But I tell you what, this is gonna have to go into next week because someone says the Kit. AB says, can we get Kit from Knight Rider? So I've had Kit being brought up. I've had the Mustang from McQueen's Bullet. That's a sweet, Mustang. I've had the A-Team van. I've had all sorts of I'm gonna have to go and maybe come up with a second question. Maybe it might be those three. It might be Kit, the A-Team van. I might even have to go Lee Major's pickup from the Fall Guy. That was a pretty sweet pickup too.
Fall Guy truck was sweet.
But so people really enjoy it. Like I said, there was some a nice little discussion over there.
Kid would make me uncomfortable at some point with the voice of Mr. Feeney constantly.
Now, if you could change the voice to an Australian girl's voice or something, I'd be down.
I'd get tired of Feeney pretty quick.
I like Feeney, but I don't need Feeney's attitude that Kit had.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it's I don't need the condescending little British prick. I don't need that. Just do what I tell you to do, Kit. If I had Elle McPherson's voice or something, I could be down with that. 2,000 votes, actually kind of close. 42% say the General Lee, 31% say Bandits Trans Am, and 27% say the Aston Martin. Once again, there ain't a wrong answer. But that's how the chips fell. And our last pony poll question, over 1.6 thousand votes. Who's the better shooter? Annie Oakley or Buffalo Bill? Annie Oakley or Buffalo Bill? Both, how do I put this? Pioneers of the exhibition shooting games, right? Probably the two greatest, probably the most well-known, but probably the two greatest exhibition shooters ever. Chris, we'll start with you. Annie Oakley or Buffalo Bill?
I went with Annie Oakley.
Annie Oakley, once again, they're both great. They both have done certain things that are legendary shots, if you will, Kyle, Annie Oakley or Buffalo Bill?
I went with Buffalo Bill on this. And I am embarrassed to even say this, but I was not familiar with Annie Oakley.
What? Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it looks like she's an Ohioan, possibly.
I don't know that. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Born in Darke County, Ohio. 1860.
Where's that? Do you know?
I have no idea. Chris, you familiar? Darke County, Dark with an E.
So I'm over here. I guess they actually have a museum for her.
Really?
On the Annie Oakley Trail.
Sound like I need to go up and school myself up this weekend.
It is in a county called Darke County. I don't even know where Darke County's at. That'd be kind of cool to check out.
Yeah.
Said they have over 300,000 historical artifacts there.
Golly.
Yeah.
Wow, they got all their guns and everything.
Yeah. Dark. Garst.
Dark with an E.
Garst Museum. Oh, no shit. Okay. So at the Annie Oakley Center, this is another thing that says that her Winchester 1873 44-40 caliber factory-made smoothbore rifle was her famous gun. Made in 1892, ironically given to her by Buffalo Bill Cody. So her famous rifle was actually given to her by Buffalo Bill. Isn't that crazy? That's awesome.
Yeah, it says
pretty cool.
It says on this little Wikipedia page that she was in his show.
Yeah, she was, and I think that's how she became. That's how she became popular. She was in his traveling show, and then she became a headliner herself, if you will.
She almost lived to be 70. That's unheard of back then.
80s.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's in Greenville, Kyle, so it's only about 20 minutes from Dayton.
I think I'm definitely going to have to go school myself up either this weekend or sometime soon.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. That'd be something cool.
Yeah, Annie Oakley was badass.
But yeah, I
Both
chose
of them were.
Buffalo Bill just because that's the only one I was familiar with. So
he was the OG, for sure. Clove, Buffalo Bill, or Annie Oakley?
Oh, it's hands down Annie Oakley.
Yeah.
I've actually got shell casings and slugs fired from that rifle too.
Oh, no kidding. Really?
Yeah, they're in a shadow box with a picture of Annie Oakley, and then the target that they were shot at is in a shadow box with a little history thing and all that. Yeah, got it at a Friends of the NRA auction. I mean, obviously, you had to have a lot of pull to be able to shoot that rifle, I'm sure.
Right.
But the NRA apparently had to pull. But it was a limited run. I don't know how many of those were made, but obviously there weren't many. They didn't fire thousands of rounds through it or nothing. But yeah, pretty neat.
Yeah, she man, yeah. Said her rifle was 6.5 pounds, and she would shoot at targets hundreds of times a day, thousands of times during the run of a show in a weekend and all that, a week or whatever the hell on the show was.
I would wager, and I've never looked into it, but I would wager that you could probably find something from Wild Bill saying Annie Oakley was better than him.
I would say so. I think if you're coming down to the pure shot, I would 100% say that most people, including Buffalo Bill Cody, would probably say Annie was a better shot. He was obviously a great shot in his own right, but he was the entertainer. He was the Barnum and Bailey. He was the one the showman. He created the show and found people that were incredible shooters to join the show. And obviously she became incredibly famous in her own right, but he was a great shot, but I think that he was about the show, and he found people that could really shoot to be in his show. And but yeah, I mean, I think if you just go by shot, I think you're right, Clover. I think that even Buffalo Bill would even probably say that Annie Oakley was a better shot than him. Faux shizzle, but yeah. Over 1.6 thousand votes. 62% say Buffalo Bill, 38% say Annie Oakley, and I would have to imagine that the 62% probably need to go educate themselves a little bit. No offense, Chris. No, you picked Annie Oakley. Kyle picked Buffalo because you weren't aware of Annie Oakley. Go check out some Annie Oakley. I tell you what, if you go, did you ever watch any of the Top Shot stuff that was on History Channel and all that?
I have, but not like a whole bunch of it. No.
Yeah, I get it. Every season, if not multiple times every season, they're always paying homage. They always do something that Annie Oakley did.
Okay.
One of the famous shots, I don't know if you've ever seen this on Top Shot, one of the most famous shots that she made is she would have her rifle pointing backwards, rested on her shoulder, and she would have a mirror and would shoot like gumballs off of sticks and stuff, but shooting it backwards, aiming using a mirror. That was one of the famous shots that Annie Oakley made famous. But they did that in every season of Top Shot, I believe. But there's all sorts of cool stuff that she did. It was pretty incredible.
Sounds like she's got an amazing story just from like the little bit I've read.
For sure.
Grew up in poverty, had to develop hunting skills to feed her family.
Yeah,
had no choice. And then at the age of 15, she wins a shooting contest against this guy, Frank Butler, and then she marries him later in life. So
there's an Annie Oakley shotgun game. I don't know if y'all were familiar with that or not.
Annie Oakley shotgun game.
It's pretty popular. Yeah, it's called the Annie Oakley. Yeah.
What is it? What is it?
You'd have to look it up. I mean, it's a.
Oh, you don't know what it is?
Yeah, it's a version of trap, basically. That's like kind of like, how do I explain it? Almost like a last man standing version of trap or something.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. So, yeah, very, very famous. Very famous, and one of the best shots maybe ever. But yeah, she's got a bunch of famous shots that are kind of people always try to emulate and all that. But yeah, Top Shot always did a couple of different ones of hers that every season. So yeah, those are the pony polls. The pony polls. Make sure you go check out our friends over Anderson Manufacturing over on Instagram and YouTube. Give them a follow. Give them a subscribe. Let them know that Ghost sent you. And speaking of which, Kyle, summertime is upon us and all that. I know you're going to be at Goals in August. Are y'all going to GunCon in Iowa?
We are not.
Okay.
I tried.
No, I still have an invite from him just to go up and check it out. So I'm trying to push to get up there with you, Clove. I am.
There you go. I know you guys are looking maybe going to Eric's thing in October. Are y'all going to be at TriggerCon in September?
TriggerCon, we don't know yet, but
Okay.
IV8888, we're definitely going to try it out this year for the first time.
Good. Like I said on the phone, I said, you can make your own decision. Don't take my opinion. But for a manufacturer, you're probably going to get pretty good exposure, and y'all have to decide if it's safe for you guys to be there or not.
Yeah.
Do y'all have full auto demo stuff y'all can take to there?
We do.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Then you'll fit right in. Ooh, do you have a full auto Dissy, or at least maybe a select 3-burst Dissy?
I mean, we could make one.
Yeah, you could. Just throw it on that lower. Just throw the upper on a lower, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
Ooh, that could be fun.
Would take much.
No.
I really want to get to TriggerCon, and like I said,
it's a fun one, man. I was pleasantly surprised. I literally went into Kansas last year going, you know what, this is going to be terrible, but at least I get to see my boys, and it ended up being one of the better shows of the year, man.
We were literally in the parking lot 10 minutes before the door opened,
questioning why we were there.
In the world are we doing?
Seriously. Here? And when we walked in, I said, damn, this is like a rodeo stadium. Like, seriously, we were inside the building still going, why are we here? Like, why? And then it turned in to be one of the better events of the year. So I had a blast.
I thought it looked cool just from the videos I seen of.
It was really cool.
Like, it looked like a real cool setting, like cool vibes. Like, everybody looked like they were having a good time. So
yeah, no, everyone. Like I said, it ended up being a great one. And I tell you what, aside from the shrapnel off of the steel plates that were not their fault, that was probably the most organized and best range day I was at all year.
Really?
Yeah, great range day.
Yeah.
Jake out there says there's a full auto Mac 10 for $15,000 at his local gun shop right now.
Go buy
Interesting.
That, just go buy
Interesting.
Make a good life decision.
Lay away it, baby. Lay away it. Exactly. It's going to take a while for the stamp to go through anyways. Just lay away it. Be paying out while the stamp going through,
There you go.
If you had, we're going to go ahead and jump into the show, I guess, at this point. If you had the opportunity and you had the money, right, to buy, and I'm not talking like a Mod Deuce or anything crazy like a Saw or anything, but like an actual like small arm, full automatic rifle of some sort, right? What he sells a $40,000 mortgage. You're lucky. $40,000. I wish I had $40,000 left in a mortgage. But anyways, if you had the opportunity and the money to buy a small arm, full auto rifle, what would you get? No offense, but mine probably wouldn't be a Mac 10. But if you had the opportunity, what would you get? Kyle, let's start with you.
I'm gonna steal your answer here.
You probably are.
MP5.
Fuck yeah. Only one answer. There's only one answer.
Yeah.
I'll go with my number 2 then. Clover, unless it gets taken from me also.
And probably some type of an AK, maybe. That could be a good one.
There's my number 2.
Here's the thing with full auto, to maybe Jacob's point out there or whatever. I know that you scoff at that and you go Mac 10, $15,000, realize that next year it'll be worth 18 easy, if not 20.
Yep, easily.
Thank you.
It's not going to lose value.
Reagan. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. Thank you, Gun Owners Protection Act and Hughes Amendment of 1986 that created a huge, never-ending investment collector's market out of full auto.
No, it's never going to lose its value.
You're not losing money on it at all. Period. Yeah. So honestly, I would, if given the money, I'd buy whatever. Because
that's true.
In a few years, I'd flip it and make money on it anyway.
Make money on it. Yeah. Chris.
I'm gonna go with my number 2 because everybody's picking the same one for one, but P90.
Oh, that's a good one too. That's my number 3. Yeah, all 3 of mine got taken. Obviously, you guys know my affinity for the MP5, greatest weapon system ever created, in my opinion.
Hands down, that's my number 1.
Yeah, hands down. It's not even close. Not even close. But my number 2 is, in fact, the AK. I'm gonna go with the AK-47 in particular. And this is something that I tell people. I love the MP5. It's great. Full auto MP5. If you ever get an opportunity to shoot it, it'll change your life. That said, a full auto true Kalashnikov AK-47 and full auto, if you ever get that needs to be on everybody's bucket list. If you've never shot, no offense to like Sentry and these others that might have a full auto AK or
an original.
You need, like, if you get a chance to shoot a Kalashnikov AK-47 full auto, it's one of the best experiences you'll ever have in life. It's unbelievable.
Absolute unique sound.
They talk about the distinctive sound of an AK, and there is a distinctive sound for any AK, but especially a Russian-made Kalashnikov. It's different than anything else, and it's unbelievable. It really is. The AR-15 is a great rifle. Don't get me wrong, but the AK, a true Kalashnikov, is one of the coolest rifles I've ever had an opportunity in my life to shoot. It was life-changing. It was unbelievable. I think the experience of that is more fun and it's better than an MP5, to be honest with you. But I still pick the MP5. I think it's a better system. I love it more. But shooting a full auto 47 is incredible. Really is incredible.
Let me ask you a clever question. Have you guys ever got to shoot a full auto Vector, Chris Vector?
Yes, many times.
I have not got to shoot one yet.
It's probably the quickest full auto I've ever shot. It's done.
That was my favorite part of SHOT Show range days until they pretty much stopped.
Until they stopped showing up. Yeah.
That's the only thing at SHOT Show range day worth standing in line for.
That's true. Yeah. They used to come every year, and they would give you probably like maybe
10 rounds.
Anywhere from 10 rounds, 12 rounds, something like that, and it was gone in 0.2 seconds. I mean, it was just.
Was it the 45 you guys were shooting?
I've shot them all. I shot the 45. I shot the 9.
10.
You shot the 10. I don't know if I shot the 10 or not. I know I shot the 45 and 9.
I'm pretty sure you have.
I probably did. But yeah, I mean, they had them. When they were going to shot range day, they brought them all. And man, talking about the Vector is a fun gun to shoot. Would you agree that it's one of the quicker full autos, Clover?
Oh, it absolutely is. Yeah,
it's fun.
Problem with the Vector,
not ever buy one though, because
the problem is that is you can't. Yeah, Vector's post 86, so unless you want to go become a manufacturer, get a SOT, you're not gonna be able to own one. Like individual civilian, whatever, cannot own one. Full auto.
Now their semis are still pretty cool, but why the hell would you spend that kind of money on a semi-auto? That, I mean, it's what it is. The wow factor, but man, I tell you what, that thing is fun as hell to shoot. If you never shot one, Chris, you need to go find a range day that they're going to be at and go shoot it. It's worth it. It's worth the drive wherever you got to go.
There's two. You talked about the AK and the uniqueness of the sound. There's two when I think full auto or firearms in general, really, and I think about the sound, but full auto especially. It's the AK and the Thompson. The Thompson has a unique
The
sound.
Thompson, yeah, the Thompson's a pretty cool one. I've shot one, and I really liked it. I shouldn't say that actually. I mean, I liked it for the historic factor of it, but honestly, I was surprised at how heavy that damn thing was.
Oh yeah.
Like I was not. I mean, you figure it's gonna be heavy. Those things are freaking heavy, bro.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan
Well, heck,
for the gun.
That much 45 alone is heavy.
Yeah, that's true too. That's true too. But it's cool, yeah, for sure. Yeah, the Thompson does make a cool. Now, if we're gonna get to belt fed and all that, there's some really cool, like you can't go wrong with 240. The sound of a cool 240 or an M60, those are pretty cool. Obviously, you got to go with the miniguns. Probably, let's be honest, the minigun's the coolest sound ever from any gun.
But that's more heavy arms.
But that's heavy arm. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, the Thompson's a really cool one. Go ahead, Chris.
Thompson's got a similar sound to me to a Deuce. I mean, obviously the Deuce bigger.
It is. Yeah. I mean,
it's that slow. Thump, thump, thump,
it's
thump,
the
thump.
slow thump. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fast. It was fast, incredibly fast for the 20s and 30s. Let's get it right, but not for today's standards for sure.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Christopher.
The Bullet Ranch here in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
They have a Evo 3 Scorpion that's full auto. Now that's the fastest one I've shot. That thing screams too.
Now the fastest I've ever shot was not what's the Vector? I don't know. It may rival the Vector.
Yeah.
Is I want to say maybe the Mac 11, but it's that platform in 380.
I haven't shot that. Yeah.
And it's pretty close to the Vector. The difference is it's way less controllable than the Vector. That's the beauty of the Vector.
Yeah.
Is it's super quick and there's no rise, it's just beep, and it's gone.
Yeah.
Like it's amazing.
Jacob said he's never shot any full auto firearms to begin with. You need to change that, sir. He said, the clerk said the owner was selling it because of terminal cancer. Man, that sucks. What he needs to do is not. This sounds bad. No offense to the local gun shop. What he needs to do is not go to the local gun shop. He needs to go and find an auction.
Probably
that'd be the best way to go to maximize what that gun could be worth.
That's a fair price on that.
I'm not saying it's not fair. I'm just saying that there's a chance you can get into a bidding war. And you could get 25 for that thing, maybe. You never know, It is what it is. Full auto version here. Really, Ed? Okay. Man. Gotta change that. Ed, where are you from? Jacob, I know you're from like Indiana or something like that, I believe. Ed, where are you from? Because if you're anywhere, well, we can. There's full auto. He likes the grease gun. Grease guns are pretty cool. I wouldn't trust a grease gun.
I've always wanted to shoot the Sten.
No, the Sten. Yeah. Jake's in Southern Indiana. Ed, I'm not sure where you're, but Ed, there's full auto shoots popping up all over the country. That might be worth to go if you live anywhere around any of them.
Was that a stand? They had a stand there at Aim Day, didn't they, on the table, Kyle, with the rocket, with the grenade launcher and the mag goes in the top, right, on a stand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, in the side. It's kind of almost like the magazine's kind of hanging off the side.
Oh, okay.
Defense.
I don't know, whatever that gun was on that table.
To shoot full auto. That's funny.
It was heavy when I picked that thing up.
I kept looking over at the table. I never went over there. I seen they had an RPG-7 and that grenade launcher you were holding in that picture, but that's the only two I seen over there.
Yeah.
Ed's in California. Well, there's probably going to be some full auto shoots in Arizona and Nevada.
Big Sandy
would be probably get to. Big Sandy would be a great one to go to.
Yeah.
And that's in Arizona. Well, summer. I don't know what month, but it's summertime, so it's probably coming up. probably coming
Man,
in
the
months.
night shoot there is what's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the night shoot, people bring out their own mod deuces and mini guns with tracer rounds, and just it's insane. It's insane. It's awesome. I've never been there, but I've G-Webs has been
Also
there
out.
many times, and he'd go live stream it, and so we would just all sit there and just watch the night shoot, and it was incredible.
It's also out in the middle of nowhere, so be
Yep.
prepared to like camp in the back of your truck.
Yeah. No hotels, no food around there. It's
bring food and water with you. Yeah, it's in the middle of literally nowhere. I think they had food trucks and stuff, you said, but it's
during the
really
day, but not at night. Yeah.
And all of that. So bring your provisions and be prepared just to kind of camp out more or less.
But wouldn't that be like a great story though? Camping out to shoot your first full auto, and then at night watch the helicopters come in, do their thing, and then have the mod deuces and the miniguns going nuts with tracer rounds. And these guys are all privately owned, and so they bring their own. There's no telling how much money they're spending just letting that minigun go with tracer rounds. Just no telling.
That gun at aim day, Kyle, was a Bren. Sorry.
Yeah. So he just got back into. So there's been a couple of people out there, and Ed's out there. He's in California. Has never shot full auto. We were talking about Big Sandy, and when is Big Sandy? It hasn't happened yet. I don't think. I think it's July or August maybe. Man, yeah. He said 4-H provides the food and proceeds go to their 4-H club. There you go. So there will be food, but there's no hotels and all. I think most people that camp out, they bring, their trailers or campers. Oh, it's one in March and in October. So there you go. October. Hey, if you're going to go to the desert, October would be the time to go. But yeah, Big Sandy, I think that Ed, you'd probably have a blast doing that. Faux shizzle. All right. It's kind of cool talk. Full auto talk never goes wrong with full auto talk. One of the questions that I get a lot, and obviously people that know my channel know me, and they know my origin story, if you will. How I got into guns, which is the Marine Corps. I was never a gun guy until I joined the Marine Corps and all that. And a lot was just, why do you like certain types of guns and all that? So I kind of wanted to maybe let people in on, if you guys don't mind, our origin stories and not only how we kind of got started with guns, but more importantly, maybe why we like guns and why we like certain types of guns that we kind of always seem to gravitate towards. So if you don't mind, if you don't want to go for it, it's cool. I think we kind of know mine and Clover's a little bit. We'll bring Clover in last, but Kyle, I want to bring you in, and obviously you working for a manufacturer. Guns have been a part of your life. Being a Marine, guns have been a big part of your life. But kind of your origin story with firearms. Did you grow up shooting? Did you hunt as a kid, or kind of what was your origin story when it comes to guns?
Yeah, no, I grew up in a single mother household, so and she wasn't into guns. So like guns just was never really a thing at all for me. Like whenever I go to my grandparents' house, I'd see like my grandpa's a big hunter, but never took me, but I'd always see his gun collection and I'd be intrigued by it, but I never, I guess, had any exposure or any experience shooting as a kid. But kind of like your story, 2006 joined the Marine Corps, and that was my like introduction. And apparently that was a good thing because they said you don't have bad shooting habits, so they can kind of mold you. And
that's what they told us. They actually told me, and I don't know if they told you the same thing. We're a dozen years apart when we went to boot camp, but they were probably more excited about the new shooters like I was than the kid that had been hunting his whole life, because they had to train them into the way, the Marine Corps way of shooting and how they wanted to shoot. With us, they were like, just do this, this, and this. And we didn't have anything to we had no reference points,
Yeah. I mean, besides getting over the, I don't know, the it factor of the M16, A4 for me, A2 for you, wasn't it?
A2 for me,
yeah. Besides getting over that, like, damn, this thing's the real deal. Like, I'm actually sitting here with but once I got over that and really just focused on the fundamentals,
Yeah.
and it just came natural, and it's something that I like, and I'll love for the rest of my life is a passion for firearms, just because there's so much utility. Like I see them as tools. It'd be like, oh, I hate hammers or saws or something. Like, no, I'm not going to be like that. Something that can keep me safe, keep my family safe. And at the end of the day, like, there's a lot more. Like, it could be an investment, like Clover was talking about.
Yeah.
It could be one of those things, like, if everything else failed, that would be a hell of an item to have to trade. So I'm always on the lookout for firearms, and have always just had a huge respect for them. I've seen what firearms are capable of, both good and bad. So definitely have a huge respect for them. I don't know, just something my heart's into, man. Something I'm just very, very passionate about, and would never steer anybody away from the firearm community, man.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of interesting that our origin stories are pretty much the same. I mean, Marine Corps. You know, the good thing is, you know, I don't know of many, and I don't know if it's the way that they trained us, because, you know, I don't know. But I never really met too many guys that like us had never really had much experience with guns prior to the Marine Corps, that went through Grass Week and all that stuff and said, man, I don't like guns. I don't want to shoot. I never like met anyone that went through boot camp and said they didn't like it. I don't know. I don't know if it's because it was the M16 or what, or it was the way that we were trained. I don't remember, and if I have, I don't recall anyone that ever went through boot camp that said, you know what, I really don't like guns. You know,
well,
I don't know.
In my opinion, I think it's the way that they introduce you to them. You know, they hand them to you. You're not allowed to do anything with this.
Yeah.
You can only take it off your rack for drill.
Yep.
And then as you go through the process and you go through crew training, like, you slowly get more liberties with your rifle. You get to break it down, clean it. You learn
shit. So y'all want to let it take it off your rack except for drill?
Yeah.
We took them everywhere except for when we were PTing.
Oh, well, and I'm talking early phase, like first phase.
Yeah. Like if we went to classrooms, we had them.
Oh, yeah. That was the same for us in second and third phase. But in the
okay.
early phase, like, we weren't allowed to touch them unless the drill.
Oh, man. They had our hands on them the whole time. They're like, hey, we want you to get comfortable with these things and all of that. And yeah, it was crazy.
So, I mean, little differences like that. But
learning
the Rifleman's Creed, learning how it breaks down. And man, the Rifleman's Creed, if you guys ever get a chance out there in the crowd, read that bad boy. I think that's where a lot of my respect for firearms comes from, to be honest with you, is that kind of being planted as one of my first experiences with a rifle. Is like, that thing's an extension of me. If that thing fails, then I fail.
That's right.
Simple as that. That's just the reality of combat. So
this is my rifle. There are many like it, but this is mine.
Yeah.
You know? Without me, my rifle is nothing. Without my rifle, I am nothing. I mean, many times almost every night we had to recite the creed. Then we had to say goodnight to Chesty Puller. So
we did God, Country, Corps.
God, Country, Corps, like good night, Chesty, wherever you are, every night when the lights went out. Good night, Chesty, wherever you are. So anyways, wow. Sorry. For all you non-jarheads, that didn't make any damn sense. But anyways, Christopher, your kind of origin story, were you always around guns, or how that happened?
Yeah, so, you know, I've said before that I grew up on a game reserve, so I could pretty much go outside and shoot every day. My dad was a big hunter, so, but we didn't have that many guns in the house. We had a 12 gauge that had a purpose. Then we had a 22 Marlin.
It had a purpose. 60. Yeah.
And then he had his bolt action. He was a big Savage bolt action guy.
Yes. Nice.
But we didn't have handguns back then. My dad was never into handguns. So yeah, I started out with I think Crossman 760 was the first gun he got me, and then I got the Marlin Model 60, but man, I mean, tens of thousands of rounds of 22 shot growing up. I mean, because I grew up in a time, we were like, video games had just come out, like, and we weren't allowed to stay in the house. Like, if we were out of school, your ass was outside doing something.
Well, we weren't allowed to come. Me and all we weren't allowed to come home until it got dark. Dinner was at dark, and for the time we got home from school, we weren't allowed at the house. Like, we got on our bikes and went somewhere, and did something,
Yeah. So, yeah, and I didn't get into handguns until 2010, I think, is when I bought my first handgun. Okay. And honestly, I think now that's why you see me on my YouTube channel shooting more handguns than I do anything. It's just because it's something that I never got to shoot for 30 some years. And now it's like, it's still kind of new to me, and I keep getting better with one. So it's like, I just kind of keep pushing the envelope. I still like to go back to a rifle once in a while. Don't get me wrong, but I just didn't have the opportunity to shoot handguns when I was a kid.
Yeah. What was your first handgun you bought?
The Walther PK 380.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, maybe
not so much nice, but love my Walthers out there and love my friends at Walther, but that PK 380 was not a good gun.
Yeah, that was a bad mistake. There was a lot of better Walthers I should have bought.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there was. Yeah, wow. Real quick, Defense Dad says he got into guns when his daughter was younger. They lived close to the highway, and there were 2 attempted kidnaps about a mile from his house. That would do it. Gizzard Gary says, my dad was an avid bird hunter, and you call yourself Gizzard Gary. That's kind of ironic. Anyways, grew up around shotguns and had my own. Man, he must have been around when shotguns were invented back in the day. But he didn't own a handgun until 2015 when his daughter bought one and took her to the range and had one the next day. That sounds about right. G-Webs, one of the best origin stories I've ever heard. G-Webs is always around for a good laugh. He said, one day as a small baby, I was minding my own business. Then one day, some Soviet bad dudes tried to attack me. I defended myself, but in the fight, a radioactive AK-47 bit me. From that point on, I could talk to guns, and they obey me like fish. Listen to Aqua Dude. Fantastic. Fantastic. Defense Dad says, I actually spent the afternoon at the range today, entering the high-speed photography contest and got some shots of a buddy shooting his 1911. Everyone else is doing wildlife photography. There you go. G-Web says, you need a high-speed camera to keep up with that 1911? That's a valid question. That's a valid question. Jacob, you're still like 16 years old, bro. No, he's early to mid-20s. I remember when Jacob, oh goodness, 3-4 years ago, started hanging out on the show and didn't even own a gun at the time, was asking us questions about guns, and it's kind of cool to see his journey. He says, I always wanted firearms of my own growing up, but my family wouldn't let me my own. So when I got out of college, one of the first things I did was get a shotgun, not even a few months after landing a job. There you go. And now he's a gun guy, which is awesome. Let's see here. Artax says he loves a PK 380. Okay. To each his own. To each his own. Holy shit. I mean, it goes bang. I'm not knocking it. I mean, it goes bang and all that. It's just when you're accustomed to a certain, how do I put this, level of quality from Walther, right? That for me, it missed the mark. It seemed like that they put one of the Umarex frames on a 380 slide. That's just how it was for me. But that's just me.
No, I have to agree. Like after I got my PPQ M2 and my PDP and even my P22 is just such a more better built gun than the PK3. I think it's clanky. It's just, I don't know.
It's just like, once again, it's reliable. It's going to go bang. It just doesn't feel good. It feels cheap, But I think they learned from that mistake. But yeah, everyone's allowed to have a bad design once every couple hundred years, like Walther's been around, you know. So
and they redesigned it, didn't they? Didn't we get to shoot it at Range Day this year? The new one. What is that called? It's is it the PD 380? It's actually pretty nice, the redesigned one.
yeah, I didn't shoot it, but yeah, I mean, once again, it couldn't have. I mean, the idea of what they were trying to do was fine. It was just it was not executed well, and I think they learned from that mistake. Clover, we all know that you were born with basically a gun in your hand, so we're not going to ask your origin story because literally you had
That's
guns from your memory. I mean,
yeah,
you know,
I don't remember a time without guns. I don't.
Yeah. So we'll kind of go into the next phase is, you know, why we like guns, you know, so you remember having the gun in your life and all that, but why have you, you know, 40 some odd years later, you still have a passion for guns? I mean, I'll let you kick that one off. Is why is that passion still big for guns in your life?
Because it entails so many different things that it never gets old. And a lot of people would probably say that are really big into cars and have been their whole life, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or all kinds of other things, but cars, you know, come to mind since we talked about cars earlier. Yeah, you know, growing up, you experience a certain set of things, and you realize, okay, well, you know, I can go out and I can have fun with these. I can also hunt and bring home things and cook and eat because of these. Oh snap! I can go out and enjoy time, whether that's hunting or competition with other people with these. So there's a fellowship and camaraderie that develops around it, and there's a community. Then you get a little older, and because when you're younger, you've got access to whatever your family's got or whatever. You don't really have a job and disposable income and things to be able to, you know, get a little heavier into it. But you know, then you start looking at as you grow up, I think you start looking at the defensive potential defensive uses, being that you know, foreign, domestic, or local, you know.
That's
Whatever
fair.
it might be. So you start looking at that, the world collapsing situations. You start looking at, because at that point you're spending your own money, getting them, and you start seeing the investment opportunity in them, collectible investment. And then I think it gets even crazier when you get into the whole YouTuber thing. You start making these events, you make friends with folks like Kyle, and, you know, friends in the industry, and you get to see new stuff, and you get the behind the scenes, and it encompasses all the things I've talked about previously, but it puts a new perspective and a new dynamic on it. And it's laughable when there's people out there that have literally been into guns for 5 or 6 years that go, "Oh, there's no innovation in the industry anymore." And I'm over here laughing because I totally see innovation in the industry every single year and pretty much every single show that I go to. And yet I don't remember a time that there wasn't guns in my life. Right. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's a cute story, bro. You know, keep up with that. But I think it's because of that, and because of all the experience, and because of seeing, you know, just more evolving, would be not morphing, but evolving through the years with the different uses for them. I don't, you know, y'all are talking trash on the PK 380, and it deserves it, right? But that gun has a place, you know.
Oh, yeah, no.
You know, no. I'm not dogging you on it. I'm just saying that's where my mind goes on a lot of things. I don't really trash a lot, you know.
Sometimes its place is to make that mistake and learn from it, and it may become a great gun 3 years later. You know,
there's manufacturers, there's models, there's things that I don't like, and you know, I likely never own and that sort of stuff. But then, you know, I'm able to have a little bit of discernment or whatever to be able to stop and go, hey, I realize that if somebody was into this or into that or like this certain aesthetic or this look, right, they would enjoy this. I just don't.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Real quick, Defense Dad says, to be fair, the only reason why he would personally buy a PPK would be for a movie gun collection. No, we're not dogging the PPK. PPK is an historic gun. The PK 380 is not a PPK. Let's never associate that with the PPK. Different gun altogether. But yeah. Really cool question from Jacob. And I love Jacob because Jacob has been asking amazing questions for years now. But he said, question for everyone. What's your stance on purchasing used firearms versus getting new? Chris, let's start with you on this one.
I would say 10, 15 years ago, I would have said buy used every chance you get because there was a huge savings there in money. But it's not like that anymore now when I go to these gun shows and stuff. In fact, the guns are sometimes even higher than what you're going to go to the store and buy them new for. But I get it. You know, someone's getting an unregistered gun in their name, whatever. But yeah, I mean, nowadays it's like I still love to go to the gun shows to just like look at the guns, but like I very rarely would buy one. I mean, now, I'm talking more of the modern stuff, but you're going to have to really look hard. And I don't have the time or patience to do that at gun shows. Clover and Snob, they have the patience to go and look for deals.
It's the diamond in the rough and the surge and the hunt,
and I'm not looking for that deal. You know,
it
sounds bad, but yeah, I mean, for basics, yes. Gun shows in general are going to be a little more expensive than other places for sure.
There's always a deal, at least one. There's always a deal at a gun show, though. And finding that deal is awesome.
Yeah. Kyle, I'll bring you in real quick. I'll bring Clover here in a second, but you buying used versus getting new in general.
I think it just depends on what you're looking at, to be honest with you. If it's something like an AR, I'd say definitely buy new because you can make that thing in years. But if it's something like a firearm that only came out this year to this year and it's not in production anymore, then I don't know. I'd say if given the opportunity, two of the same guns, one's used and one's new, that's tough for me.
It is.
There's so much that goes into it. There's so like if it's an everyday carry and it's like a police trade-in versus a brand new, I'm probably taking the police trade-in.
Yeah,
I know that thing's proven. It works. Probably hasn't been shot a lot, to be honest with you. Hopefully, unless you're in like Chicago or something. But I don't know. I think there's so much that goes into it.
I'm going to tell you that if you have the opportunity to shoot that used gun, before you buy it, or have a 7-day grace period that you can bring it back, obviously it's got to work. But I'm all for. I think buying a used, especially handguns. I'm all for it. I think that you can get into something. Let's say your budget is $500. Well, you can go and buy a new Glock, let's say, for $500, or you might be able to get into like an HK VP9, but it's used for $500, or a Beretta 92 used for $500. You might be able to get into something that probably maybe you enjoy more, or something that you would want more or like more in a used market that could save you some money. Once again, you're also talking about a gun that's probably been gone through that 100 to 150 round break-in period. So, a lot of the stuff that's probably going to happen to that gun's already happened, if anything happens. I think a lot of it comes down to it's what you want. Now, if you're someone that wants to buy something for the collector side of things, obviously the less it's been shot, the more value it's going to have. So you might look into something new, or as new as you can find. Obviously, we're not talking about something that's 1800s because nothing's going to be unshot. But it depends on what your use is for. If it's something you're going to shoot, great. If it's something that you're going to carry, I think you can go either way. If it's just something that's going to be a range toy, you just want to have fun with, there's absolutely no reason that you should spend full price if you can get something that's used. If you're just going to go out and have fun and shoot it.
Yeah. And then you guys might be like this. I feel like I'm a peculiar in this way, but I really lean. All right, handguns. I kind of lean more towards used, just because of what you were saying, the break-in period, and just being proven, especially police trade-ins, just because I know they're maintained on a schedule and all that.
Absolutely.
Like I said, not used a lot, but I also have this selfishness inside me that's like, I want to buy it new and I want to earn all the wear and tear that's on this bad boy. Like, I want all that.
That's a legitimate thought process. No, I don't really think about that. Yeah, I mean that's a legitimate thought process for sure. Kind
of like growing with the firearm, and
it's kind of like getting that new car and molding your own butt print into the seat, right? Instead of type thing, something about that. There definitely is. I think there's something to be said there for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right or a wrong answer. I think it's just what you're comfortable with. But if anyone should tell you, Jacob, that buying used is wrong, then go ask someone else and they'll tell you something different.
100%.
I would echo what everybody on the panel here said so far. This is, you need to do your homework, and it's going to be dependent upon price, and then you kind of got to weigh it out from there. If it's a significant savings, sure. But then another thing too that I think that people have to keep in mind is what type of at least basic gunsmithing skills and tools and things they have and have access to. And if the answer to that is very little, you're just somebody that goes out and pulls triggers and basically cleans, and that's it, then you may want to relegate yourself to buying guns only, or used guns only, from places that have certified real gunsmiths, not glorified gun cleaners, but legit gunsmiths. Local gun shops, things like that, because the used stuff they have very likely is going to have been put through the ringer. That gunsmith cleaned it, and when he cleaned it, he obviously checked it out. Anything that looked bad, took it out, shot it before he cleaned it. He made sure there was nothing wrong with it, this, that, and the other. And typically places like that will even stand behind their stuff. A lot of times. I think one of the hang-ups that you get into with buying used that people have too, and this is the collector investment market is going to be totally different with this. But for like the average person, is if it has a scratch, or if it has holster wear, if it has, if there's some rough spots, the bluing's coming off, or the finish is more, or some weird thing like that. And if it's one that you're going to just shoot and enjoy,
or they've Cerakoted it some weird ass color, you know what I'm saying? That's a thing now,
Well, that could be too. That could be a deal breaker as opposed to some quote unquote normal wear.
Wear and tear,
That's a Bubba job there, which is a totally different situation. But if it's just kind of normal wear and stuff on there, realize that if you own that thing for very long, and if you shoot that thing very much, and it's going to look exact. If you buy a new one, now it's in a year or two or whatever, it's going to look exactly the same as that used one. So it kind of gets into what Kyle was saying. Do you want that rush, that little bit of whatever it is? It's even hard to explain that you get to see it go through the process, and I'm the one that put all this wear on it, or do you care? Are you like, hey, it's going to end up being that way anyway, I'm going to save a few bucks? And that's a call you got to make.
I always laugh because you guys know, especially with ARs and stuff, I like to rattle can my stuff. And it's just something Kyle understands, but I'm a rattle can guy. People say, oh man, I'd rather just go get the Cerakote that has like the battle worn Cerakote. I'm like, you know how to get a battle worn gun? Shoot it. It'll be battle worn, AB out there says use whenever you can. Just be aware if it's used, it might be someone else's problems. And that's what we're talking about. If you go to a reputable gun shop that's got a gunsmith, either on staff or someone that comes in once a week and checks in guns before, they can go for consignment or something like that, or pawn or whatever. Yeah, obviously, if that gun shop or wherever you buy this from has a range that you can go shoot it before you buy it, even better. More importantly, like Clover said, if they've done their homework and they've done their job on a used firearm before you buy it, ask them, say, hey, how long do I have to bring this back if it doesn't work, if something goes wrong? And I would imagine that they'd all stand behind that and at least give you a day or two or whatever to say, hey, go to the range and shoot this, and if it doesn't work out, bring it back and stand by their guns. But obviously, when you're buying anything used, whether it's a car or a computer or a phone or a gun or whatever you're buying used, there is that threat of it being someone else's problem. That's a legitimate thing. But the great thing about guns, and it sounds bad, there's only so many things that could go wrong, right? And if it's at least, less than 10 years old, and I'm going to bring Kyle into this. Obviously, you guys have warranties on your rifles and all that, but if someone was to buy an Anderson rifle, I'm just using Anderson as an example since you're on here, that's, let's say, 10 years old. You guys look at the serial number and it's 10 years old easily. And they bought it used from someone and it's having issues. Can they contact you guys and send it in, whether it's warranted or out or not? But like, you'd probably be willing to fix their guns for them, correct?
Yeah, that's 100% situation dependent, though.
Yeah.
Just because we are so well known for our strip blowers, there's a lot of like Frankenstein, Mosh Posh builds out there that we might not be able to work on just because it's our barrel,
been parted out. Yeah,
or not our fire control group, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But if we looked that serial number up and it came from us as a complete rifle, then yeah, you're covered. Whether you bought that brand new or you bought it used from somebody, as long as it's all Anderson parts, and yeah, that thing's covered for life. So.
Well, and maybe it's one of those things where Jacob might have found, let's just say, a Springfield XD, right?
Yeah.
And buys it from a buddy of his for a couple $100, great gun. And quickly after that, something goes wrong, spring breaks, or something happens, right? It happens, and it does happen. They're machines. They're going to have issues over time. Even if it's not warranted out, bro, you should be able to at least call that manufacturer, tell them what's going on, and you might have to pay a little bit, but they'll get the gun running again. They'll get it sent back to you pretty quickly. You should be able to get, or if a gunsmith locally that's pretty good, that guy might be able to get that thing fixed for you in a day. You never know, so don't, even with paying for those parts to get it fixed, you're probably still going to be paying less than what that thing cost new 5 years ago or whatever,
Yeah. In most cases, like, it's just a phone call to the manufacturer. Yeah. Hey, I got this going on. Do some troubleshooting over the phone, and once we get a pinpoint of what the issue is, be like, yo, this is what you need. Here's the parts. They're available on our side or wherever. And we're going to help you either way. And I think all manufacturers are like that. That's just the way this community is.
It may not be for free, but they're going to help. They're going to help you out. If you spent money because you wanted their gun, they're going to want to keep you shooting their gun. That's just the way it goes. You would think any self-respectable company would do that, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
G-Web says the first thing to go wrong was buying the XD. You know what? I don't mind. I like the XD. I like it.
I understand the sentiment, though.
I understand the sentiment too, and I just happen to use that as an example. He also said that 9mm guns come with butt prints. So
I would say two things, because we're not. To me, this conversation is not the first time gun owner conversation. We've talked about our journeys as becoming gun owners, for many years, many guns, that sort of thing. And so I would say two things. Once you get to the point, like, okay, I'm embedded in the community and the culture. I'm here. One is not enough. A dozen's not enough. 1,000's not enough, right?
Yeah.
Two things. Number one, getting back to your local gun shop. You need to be going to your local gun shop regularly.
Yeah.
Buying targets, buying some little something, maybe one box of ammo. First and foremost, supporting that local gun shop so it keeps the doors open. You're also able to see how often they rotate that inventory of those used guns, right? And then you're also making friends. The owners there, the staff, they see you regularly. So when you do buy that used gun and you have a problem, maybe it's a situation, I've seen this a lot through the local gun shop I use, where people will get a used gun and they simply don't like it.
Yeah.
How many places take something back that you don't like it? I mean, there's very few.
Depends on your relationship, but yeah, that's where that relationship becomes in big. Yeah.
But you can bring it back. The gunsmith goes, he fires it, he checks it out. Hey, it's just as good as when it left out the door. Okay, what do you want? You can trade it in on something.
Let's trade it for this one or whatever. Yeah.
Want to try something else? You want to go with something else? Take the difference off of this, whatever. So you get a lot of leadway by first supporting your local gun shop to keep the doors open, and then second, becoming friends and getting to know those people. The second thing, I think, with, again, extended firearm ownership is learning to do at least basic gunsmithing yourself and quit fucking bitching about little things that go wrong.
That's fair.
And yeah, I don't drop F-bombs very often, but that aggravates the snot out of me when people buy brand new guns, and I get it, but they'll buy brand new guns even from a factory, and the problem can be fixed in 5 minutes with $2 worth of tools, and they get online and complain about something that slipped through the cracks with the factory. Now extrapolate that over into the used gun world, and you see what I'm saying. You could buy some used firearm, you get it home, and it's like there's a screw loose, for example, with my 2311, right? It was a freaking screw loose. So
not off, not missing, just loose a little bit.
Loose, literally loose. So like it wasn't Loctited correctly from the factory. It was missed, right? So if you learn your gunsmithing, your basic gunsmithing stuff, you can correct little problems. And I don't understand people that had rather spend weeks and whatever sending it back to the factory, getting it back when they could order a $5 part overnight, right, and fix that problem. Like
including me, who are people that are mechanically ignorant, and most people that know me personally know that I am mechanically ignorant. I can do basic gunsmithing as well, so anyone can do it. Yeah,
spring stuff.
And if you can't, there's a YouTube channel or someone, maybe not YouTube anymore, but somewhere there's a video.
Obviously, if it's like a major issue, if it's an expensive part, but I've seen people complain over, and whether this is new or used, I've seen people complain over a $5 part that was bad that literally takes 30 seconds to install, and it's like, just go do it and shut up.
Yeah, I'll tell you another thing. Also, this is for people that might be listening to this, that kind of the new versus used. If you're going to buy new, most people, I would say the vast majority of people, don't read your manuals that come with the gun. And that's cool. I get it.
Guilty.
I am too. But there are sometimes recommended things that they recommend for that gun. One of which I hear a lot, is people sit there and say, oh man, I'm having, some failures on this 9mm handgun. Well, are you taking it from the gun shop and buying, 200 rounds of 115 grain bullets, and that's how you're shooting it? Most 9mm guns, you want to use 124 grain for the first 100 shots to break it in. Then after that, go with 115 or 147, but don't start out. This is just a little tip, a pro tip.
147 is usually more expensive, so
it is. That's why I say 124. It's manageable, right? Here's a little pro tip. Anytime you buy a brand new 9mm handgun, the first 100 rounds should be at least 124 grain, if not 147. Don't start your handguns out on 115 grain. It's better for the gun. Will it work? It very well could. The 115 might work right off the bat, but most new guns that I get, unless let's say I've talked to Kyle, I've talked to someone, say, hey, do I need to put 124 through this? 115 should be fine, or whatever. But just buying something new, do yourself a favor and start using that practice. And because if you start putting right off the bat, start just mag dumping 115 grain ammo through that handgun, and it starts misfeeding or whatever, you're going to come back and say this gun's crap. No, it might be because of how you're handling the break-in process. 100 to 200 rounds of 124 grain through any 9mm handgun will do it. And then at that point, you can use whatever the hell you want. That's my experiences, at least.
Well, before you even spend money on that, right? One of the things you can do, and again, we're talking about people that have multiple firearms and stuff, because it would make sense. Snap caps probably, but sit in front of the TV when you're watching your TV shows, you're watching movies, rack the slide fire, rack, rack.
And let's be honest, the racking the slide is the more important part of that situation.
That's simulating it firing, which would be the same as shooting.
The springs and everything is getting moved, and absolutely. Yep.
The more you sit there and you rack that slide, the quicker you're going to be able to shoot, the 115 grain, let's say, through that.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%.
So that's just a little pro tip, and that might not mean anything to anybody, but I do hear people all the time, oh man, this thing's having issues right off the bat. Well, try using 124 or 147 for the first 100 rounds, and then go back to 115. I promise you probably won't have the same issues. Sorry, Chris, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
I was just gonna piggyback off of what Clovertac said. I mean, that is a great idea. Just sit on that gun and just rack. I've learned that a lot with all the clone builds and stuff that I've done over the years. I mean, it's amazing how much that'll smooth that gun out. Just sitting there watching TV, watching a podcast, just sit there and rack the crap out of that thing.
Yep. I had a gun a couple years ago. I won't mention manufacturers because it wasn't anything wrong. It was just, the spring was just really tight. I mean, just really, really tight. And you just sit there and I probably went 200 times just racking, dry fire, rack. It was just sitting there, and it works. It just sometimes, you've got once again, these are machines. Like, these are machines, and you're going to possibly have issues. You might have little spurs here and there. You might have little bitty things that just need to be worked out. And that all, instead of just saying, well, this gun's crap. No, it's not. You just, give it a little bit,
Everything is built by humans.
That's right.
On machines that require regular maintenance and are any machine, it's like the gun itself, right? It's subject to failure. So right. Just realize that the world is not perfect, and it happens.
AB says start with 115 grain plus P. Probably don't want to do that. Probably doesn't want to be the first thing that goes through that barrel. Just saying.
I don't know.
Kyle, is just for you guys. I don't know. With the Kiger series, do you have recommendations for a new gun, Kiger owners? Has your testing with the Kiger shown that it can handle 115 right out of the bat?
Yeah, it can handle it right off the bat, but I'll have to look back at the manual. I do believe it's 100 rounds, 147 grains recommended.
147, yeah, and it's just recommended. It's not saying you have to do that, but it's recommended. And it's little things like that.
I didn't have any problem. Mine was.
I want to say that I went mine straight to 115. I think I did too. I think I went straight 115 through it, and it went like a freaking charm.
Mine was slick as a house knot right out of the gate. But that doesn't mean they're all going to be that way.
Yeah,
no, it doesn't. And that's a platform that we're all pretty comfortable with. I mean, being the platform that it is, so.
Well, there are companies that build certain handguns. Let's say they're handguns that were built for military trials, right? So they're going to be built for NATO rounds.
Yeah.
Those are going to be a little more sensitive to different weighted bullets than others would be. So if you know it's something that went through a military trial or something like that, that gun was probably designed for NATO rounds, if you will. So you might want to think about that as well. It's one of those things you just have to learn as you go, right? Hey, take care, AB. We'll see you soon, brother. Go check out AB. He'll probably be coming on a live chat here in the next half an hour to an hour. He always does one on Tuesday night as well. It's really fun chats. Go check out Alaskan Ballistics. Yep. Sorry, go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to give a quick shout out to Gizzard Gary because I heard him on his podcast this weekend. Just broke in his new gun, so he read the manual. But I treat my manuals usually like if I'm comfortable with the platform, like the Kiger, like any AR, I treat it like RTAC does his locks. I just grab it.
I'm the same way.
Awesome, right?
I keep them in my. So we were talking with the Ghost and Clover podcast the other night, and Clover was talking about gun storage and the gun cases that come with your guns and all that. And I've got a ton of plastic gun cases just everywhere. And in that gun case is the original lock and the original manual. Why? Because I haven't touched them. So if they were in that box, and they are still in that box, I promise you.
I got a buddy who keeps the cardboard boxes and everything, like original packaging, down in his basement. And he's got, oh my God, everywhere.
Yeah. I've got some, but like the rifle boxes, I've kept like some. But the handgun, if it comes in a case, I mean, I've got cases everywhere. Like, it's bad. But it's kind of cool to have them all as well. And I mark what they are so I don't, in case I have to go, oh, crap, oh, it's right there. Okay. But yeah. Chloe, you got something to say? I saw you were unmuted.
Oh, I was just going to, on the topic of the boxes, like some of those boxes, even the cardboard ones, the boxes themselves. Now, obviously, you buy you a modern Anderson AR, the box it comes in, the brown cardboard that just has the pony on it. You can pretty much throw that in the garbage. It's never going to be worth a bunch of money. But Kyle gets it. Well, I mean, it's not a collectible looking. Like, it's not like from a Winchester lever gun in the 70s. You know what I mean? It's a different.
What if he's just shitting all over your cardboard, man?
It's signed by Clover Tack.
It is. I'm trying to shame Kyle into having better boxes and cases.
Or you know what? I've seen some cool boxes over the years. Some people have the rifle boxes. When you open them up, they've got a target that's on the inside of the box. If you open it,
Savior does that with their stuff.
Savior does it, but there's also a couple rifles that I've had over the years that if you open up the cardboard, it's got a target, so that you got your first target as well.
Put targets on the inside of the box, dude.
I will give you guys a sneak peek since Clover Tack's trying to shame me over here.
He is. He's not trying, bro. I think he's shamed you.
In my many conversations with Jennifer, our incoming marketing director, packaging has been in a lot of those conversations, updating the packaging and all that. So
yeah, definitely
be on the lookout. But Clover,
I get it. You try to keep prices low for the customer, and I get that. I don't care about. I personally don't care. I don't need for rifles. We're talking. I don't need a Pelican case or a hard case. I have no problems with coming. With a cardboard box, but I do like the idea of maybe putting a target or something that they could utilize that box for something,
Yeah. So, I mean, and to your point, Ghost, like, we're all gun guys. Like, to us, it's not a big deal. But for a lot of people, and this is kind of perspective she's coming from, is your first impression. It could be their first ever.
I agree with you. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
Yeah. So that's really the thought process that goes behind it. And now the Kiger boxes, we did put a target on the back of those bad boys.
Yeah. And it's one of those things to where, packaging and that comes into so many different things. And it could be, it still could be a cardboard box. But what if you made it blue instead of just the normal brown cardboard? Yeah. Something as simple as changing the color of the box or something like that could be cool. Who knows? Yeah.
Well, having the box and keeping the box can also, and again, we're getting more into a collectible type scenario, but having the box, I've got the box, for example, on a few of my Taurus handguns, and they're cardboard. But one of the reasons that I keep those is it helps to determine the age of the handgun. So if I ever go to trade, I sell, somebody that like that matters, like what era, what age, because sometimes the older versions, and you don't got to try to run serial numbers to figure that out. I've got the box; it's right there. You can tell by the box alone what era that fell into, right? Like the age of the handgun. So,
for me, when we're talking handguns, Taurus and some of the ones that they'll send their handguns in a cardboard box. I keep all of those. When I'm talking about the cardboard boxes that I throw away, I'm usually talking the rifle, the big, tall rifle cardboard boxes.
But they're usually all the same, right? They're brown cardboard with like the company logo. There's nothing. All the Taurus boxes I've got, they're all orange and white with stripes, and they're that type of thing. They're colorful, right?
I've got them sitting right over there. Yeah.
And,
and I keep them for handguns because they're not hard. They're easier to store handgun boxes than the big ass rifle boxes.
Right. But they're also easier to identify when they're on a shelf. If I took five random long guns from in there, put them back in their original box, and stack those on a shelf, I wouldn't be able to know what's what. No. I mean, I could look at labels and be able to tell, but I couldn't quickly be able to tell. And pretty much all of my other factory, we're talking about a factory handgun box. When I look on the shelf at my factory handguns lined up, I can tell that's the Gerson, that's a Glock, that's a Beretta, that's a whatever.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I may not know which one it is without looking at the label, right? But I know what brand, so it helps me quicker find what I'm looking for.
Chris, where do you fall on boxes, whether it's handguns, rifles, when you get a new gun or whatever? Do you keep the rifle boxes? Do you keep the handgun cases or boxes? Where do you fall on that?
Yeah, I'm like you. I keep the handgun cases, but the rifle boxes are.
I've got 5 or 6 of them just because they could be used for something else, but I don't keep all of them because there'd be no room.
Yeah, it's good to have
I need to go on a cleaning rampage again here and get rid of some stuff.
It's good to have a few in case you ever do have a warranty-related issue and have to ship something back. You've got a box that a long gun came in to be able to make that happen.
Yeah. Jacob says store the box in the attic. Depends on how big your attic is, bro. Like some of us have more boxes than...
Not happening in my attic. I can't store anything in my attic.
But no, it's one of those things where eventually cardboard does break down. So no, it's just one of those things. I keep about 5 or 6 of the boxes, and then I'll throw the rest of them away. And but for rifle, handgun, I keep them all. I keep whether it's a cardboard box or a plastic gun case, whatever they come in. I keep them all and. I don't store them in the cases typically, but I have all the cases just in case, whatever.
What if did Cal step away? Or
he might have. He's at work, so he might have gotten called in or something.
I'm right here.
Hey, okay. So we're talking about cases and stuff, and I'm thinking, Anderson. Y'all don't have Anderson branded cases, right? And I'm not talking about with the guns, but that you could like buy extra or anything, right?
Not that you can buy extra, no.
Man, that would be cool if y'all could align maybe with a case manufacturer or something and have some Anderson branded cases. That could be cool.
I really like, and Ghost, correct me if I'm wrong here. Is it Cox Arms that comes with the Savior?
They come with Savior bags. Yeah,
I really like that.
That was the cool thing is I went to go pick it up, and I knew it was going to come with a bag, but my buddy at the gun shop, he was like, "Hey man, like this came with like a Savior bag." I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Is that because of it's you?" And I said, "No, they all come with Savior bags." He goes, "Really?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's."
Is it a branded? Cool. Is it branded Cox Arms? Or
no.
Savior? No. Yeah. See, what you should do, Kyle, is kind of like Trailblazer or something did. Get with Chris over at Savior, get them to custom design.
Or just put a patch on it, an Anderson patch on it.
You could, but a custom design bag to fit specific models or something.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, most of the Savior bags have a Velcro square or something on their bag. You just throw an Anderson patch on there. Now they got a patch also. Be kind of cool. I don't know, but yeah, Savior and like Clover was saying, we were talking with the Trailblazer guys probably 3 years ago or whatever it was, and they'd come up with a deal with Savior, and I mean, Chris and those guys at Savior, they're good people. I mean, I'm not just saying it has to be Savior, but I mean, any of those bad companies, they might be do something. I for rifles, I think it's kind of cool. Maybe for like the Frontline series, they get a bag or something. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, use a little more value to the punch.
Yeah, I really like what Springfield did too. Have you seen? I think it's a special edition of their A2, one of their A2 series rifles. Comes in the wooden crate with the hay stuffing and
the
like
straw. Oh, that would be cool. I have not seen that, but that's badass.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I hadn't seen that, but yeah, that
it comes in that wooden crate with the rope handles, and
that's good marketing right there.
Yeah, it's almost
like you want to about Springfield. That's good marketing right there.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of last question we want to go in before we start closing the doors is why we like certain types of guns. Why when you gravitate towards a gun, is it's like an AR or you like semi-automatic, polymer handguns, and if you're like Clover, he'd rather have a 22 Buckmark or a revolver or whatever. I want to start on Chris on this one. If you could pick one style of gun, not necessarily a brand or whatever, but a style of gun, whether it's an AR or bolt action or semi-auto polymer or steel frame 1911 or whatever, if you could only have like one kind of style of gun forever, what would that be? And if you could explain why you would choose that, like why you go levitate towards those types of guns.
I would have to go. I guess I'd have to go with the AR platform. I just like to. I mean, it's just endless the stuff you can do with it.
Yeah.
If you got a lower, you can have all kinds of different uppers to run on it, run different calibers. Yeah, I mean to me it's just a fun, versatile platform. There's endless things you can do with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. The AR platform, I mean, it is what it is. And what it is probably the most modular, probably the most, the easiest, I should say, probably the easiest customizable platform there is. Especially now, I mean, goodness gracious, you can go anywhere, including Amazon, and find parts and accessories for ARs and all that. You can find whatever color you want to. Kyle, obviously, not speaking as Anderson Manufacturing, but as Kyle, if you could have like one style of gun, what would it be and why?
I think, and this is as Kyle, it's still the AR. It's what I got introduced to. You're the same way.
Yep.
And this is, for lack of a better term, I don't mean this literally, but it's almost a symbiotic relationship between myself and my rifle. Yep. I can turn that rifle into anything I need it to be to meet whatever mission I have ahead of me. Whether it be a special range setup event or hunting, whatever the case may be, I can make that thing work and very easily. So, yeah, AR awesome. For me, hands down.
Yeah. I know for a fact that Clover's answer is going to be different. So before I go to Clover, I will say that mine is an AR platform as well for all the same reasons. I love handguns. I really do. I love semi-automatic polymer handguns, and I know that's sacrilege to a lot of people. I dig it. That's my jam. But I can't take a Beretta 92 or a Glock 19 and try to go after someone 300 to 500 yards away. You know, I can take that AR and I'm good from anywhere from 0 yards to 1,000 yards. If I really want to test it out, I could probably get it out to a mile, maybe not effectively, but I can push it out there. And I can, like Kyle says, and Chris says, I can do whatever I want. I can configure that platform however the hell I want. And it's cheap to configure with different accessories out there. Everyone's got accessories for the AR platform. You can change out handguards, grips, whatever you want, optics. It's all, you can customize however the hell you want to do it. But I know for a fact, there is no doubt that Clover will have a different answer than the three of us. So you can't dance, but can you pick a good gun?
So humor me for a second, Kyle.
Okay.
What do you think my answer is going to be?
I mean, I'm just gonna go. What I think is shotgun.
Ghost.
Can I only pick one? It's either a shotgun or revolver. Okay, since he picked shotgun, I'll say revolver.
Okay. Chris.
I was gonna go revolver.
Oh,
wait. Now I feel like there's some surprise coming.
Well, now that he's here's the thing. He's asking me, so he's gonna say something fucking weird just to say that it wasn't. Well, it's not anything what you guys would have said.
What I was gonna say is, as Meatloaf would say, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Yeah, I go revolver.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, you've still got just the iconic nature, ability for many multiple types of cartridges. I don't foresee in a situation that I ever really have to try to do anything with a target at 200 or 300 yards. For hunting, that would work. For defense, that would work. It would be easier to carry around than a rifle, easier to conceal or hide or stash than a rifle. Just a bunch of different reasons. I would go revolver. Reliability over semi-auto is definitely going to be there. Reliability in not just in the sense of, oh, it's gotten dirty or something weird, you know, but reliability in, you know, you don't have to worry, was this ammo loaded a little bit light, or was this ammo whatever. It doesn't matter if it's subsonic or supersonic or whatever. The firing pin on that revolver hits, it's going to go bang and go down the barrel. And so reliability is just, you ain't going to be able to beat it. So I go revolver.
Defense Dad says, well, we like what we shoot well or makes us smile. People give him crap about HK and Walther, but as a left-handed, which are weird. Lefties are just weird, but they accommodate. Bro, you're talking to the wrong person here.
Crap over an HK and Walther.
Yeah, I'm a huge Walther and HK fan. I like me some German guns. Let's be honest.
PPQ might be. I mean, it's top 5 on semi-auto.
On most people's list, whether they like them or not, they're still going to be on the top 5 of most people's list.
Yeah, it's banging.
So yeah, if anyone's giving you crap about HK and Walther, tell them to go shove it and go have fun with their.
Like just talking about it right now makes me want to break it out tomorrow and shoot it. It's been a while.
Actually, I don't know if you probably didn't even notice it or realize, but that's the PPQ was in Dallas with me. You might not even notice that was the gun that was on the counter. Was the PPQ.
I don't. That's
exactly. But yeah, I love that gun. I love that gun.
People talk about the whole conversation thing with carrying. A lot of times they go, "Oh, you know, when you open carry, you have people," and I get it, but they go, "You have people that come up and they'll say, what is that?" And I just go about my business. Like I don't. It's like
no, like I said, but mine was sitting on the counter at night. So I didn't even notice it was just sitting there on the counter.
Now, don't get me wrong. If I need an icebreaker or I'm really wanting to approach somebody to have I may use that as a conversation starter. But other than that, a gun, I don't care. Okay, you got a gun, cool. No, I did not. It's a mechanic. No.
It's
oftentimes it's the canic.
Oftentimes it's a canic, yeah. This one I want PPQ. Ed says Single Action Army. Classic historic gun. Not my cup of tea, but historic gun for sure.
Yeah, and my choice for revolver, I was going more double
like
action.
a 646 or something like that.
Yeah, I was going more double
something
action.
like that.
Yeah, mainly because of modern cartridge availability. And Single Action Army, a lot of that's older stuff that you're not going to find.
They still sell it to a shit ton of like Model 10 still, don't they?
Oh, Model 10 is the most, maybe the most produced, probably is the most produced revolver in the history of revolvers. Yeah. So it's been around.
They're still selling them. I mean, they're still popular.
Brand new Model 10. Yeah.
That was the first one, and I hated it. But once again, that's it's what it is, and I'm an idiot.
You got to get another one eventually. Eventually, we'll find you a. Quite often, you can find police academy trade-ins because a lot of the police academies they'll have in their armory or whatever, they've got their semi-autos, but they got revolvers too. Typically, they're Model 10s, and when they swap those out, trade those out or whatever, you can usually find a good deal. Eventually, we're going to be in Tulsa one year and find you a deal on a Model 10.
Wouldn't that be cool to get a Model 10?
Square butt. You could really a 4-inch square butt Model 10. Yeah. I think you need one.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's bring Kyle in here. For people that weren't here earlier and all that, Kyle's with Anderson Manufacturing. Go check out Anderson over on social media, over on Instagram and Facebook and YouTubes and X/Twitter, whatever. Where can people find you and what's going on at Anderson these days?
You can find us at AndersonManufacturing.com and on all the social platforms at Anderson Manufacturing, except for X, where we're at Anderson Rifles. Real quick, Anderson Manufacturing is a place where you can find everything for your AR-15, AR-10, AR-9, and 9mm compact handgun needs. We are running some sales this week. Friday is going to be our Flag Day sale. We're going to have a special on strip low receivers. So definitely make sure you stop by the site. Flag Day, which is this Friday. And then started Monday, the Father's Day, the Everyday Carry Bundle is available on the website now. And we're going to have a few more deals going on as we get closer to Father's Day. But if you're looking to get that and get it shipped to you and ready for Dad on Sunday, go to AndersonManufacturing.com. Check out the Everyday Carry Bundle. It's Kiger 9C with a holster. So you can have Dad ready to everyday carry right off the rip there.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And it's at a good price. Can't say price on here, but very competitive price. So
absolutely. Yeah, go check it out. Great Father's Day gift ideas. Great Father's Day.
Oh, man, I'd be freaking thrilled. Hopefully the wife's not watching, but because I don't know if it's going to be a handgun this year, but I'd be thrilled as a dad from Dad's perspective.
Right. G23 wants to know that 10mm Kiger is going to be coming out for Father's Day.
I wish, G23. We're not that close to getting it ready for production yet. All right.
But he's not saying it's not coming. It just says
I would never shut the door on a 10mm Kiger. I think that'd be sick.
Oh, I'd be so badass.
Yeah,
it would be so badass. Christopher, what you got going on? Any podcasts coming up or videos coming out that you want people to come check out?
Yeah, so a week from Thursday, not this Thursday, but the following, we're going to have Matador Arms on.
There you go.
Pretty excited. I met David down at AIM Day, and super cool guy to talk to. So excited to get him on the show. I'm working with a new optic company. They sent out a dot, and it's pretty cool. It's definitely different than a lot of the other dots I've tested. It does have the acro footprint, but they are so it's an enclosed emitter dot. But what's super cool about it is when you order it from their website, they have 5 different mounting options. And this is the first company I've ever seen that's made a plate that goes from the doctor footprint to acro.
Interesting.
And then they also have an RMSC to acro plate. So they got all kinds of different options when you order it. You can get it in green dot, you can get it in the red dot. And yeah, it's a really cool optic. I got all the filming done with it Friday, so pretty excited to get that video out. So yeah, pretty cool. I appreciate you having me on tonight.
Always, brother, always. Yeah. It's good talk. Yeah, it was one of those things where it kind of started Sunday. I had a whole other idea to do tonight, but the Ghost and Clover came up with the storage and all that, and mine was, about ARs, like what we like about ARs and what we like to do with ARs and all that. And I started kind of thinking, I've had this question asked in comments and all that stuff for years about not only the origin stories, but like, hey man, you always seem to be liking, compact and subcompact guns and ARs, more the tactical side. Like, why is that? And I never really thought about it. It's just what interests me, right? I mean, I never really thought about why I tend to go towards certain styles of guns, and it's just something that catches my eye or what. I was big into concealed carry, and I love AR platforms, so but I never really sat and thought about why, and I thought that'd be kind of a cool, kind of pull the curtain back a little bit on everyone on the panel and kind of give our origin stories a little bit and explain to people out there why we like certain things, because they might be trying to figure out, they might be new and they might want to start figuring out what they want to do and why we like certain guns. And an AR is easier to deal than an AK. Okay. I enjoy shooting an AK much more than an AR. I love the AR platform better, but actually just pure shooting enjoyment, I love me shooting an AK. Just love it. Love it. But yeah, I thought it was a cool conversation. I think, everyone may have gotten into some behind the scenes of what, most gun guys and gun tubers and all that may not be willing sometimes to talk about how they got started in guns and all that. But I think it's kind of cool to hear different stories and all that. Clove, now the sun's kind of out and you're not such in a pissy mood all the time. Do you have anything coming out recently or getting ready to come out?
I've had. What are you talking about?
Just joking.
God, killing me. Yeah, I dropped Friday? Was it Friday that I dropped the?
I know you dropped a video Friday, maybe a short on Saturday, maybe. Is that right?
Dropped a short, just messing around on the shorts. I was out having fun with that one, and why not film a video? Yeah, the PD-10, 9 and 30 super carry. Oh, 30 super carry. Oh. Let me say this.
So let me ask you this, without giving the video. Go ahead. You go first. Well,
this may not be your question, and this doesn't give the video away. But I haven't gotten Rob on the phone yet, and I need to get Rob on the phone. He you know how Rob is.
Good luck.
Getting a hold of. Yeah, I know, right? But I got a few questions. Nothing bad, but I got a few questions and things to run by him. And one of them is to tell him that the PD-10 30 super carry
is better than 30 super carry.
Hands down, 100%. 9mm sucks.
That was my question. Is in comparing the two calibers, because you and I have had that talk privately that you were looking forward, because we both kind of said this gun actually it's a good gun.
Oh God,
but it might be a great gun in 30 super.
There's not a lot of 30 super options. Granted, right?
Yeah.
But the PD-10 is the best platform for 30 super right now, without a doubt. It is, and it is so enjoyable with 30. It's completely changes my perspective of the PD-10.
Yeah.
That said, what was your question?
Has it changed your perspective of the 30 super carry?
No. I've been open-minded to 30 super carry ever since the very first shot I've taken.
Okay.
It's intrigued me. I've been mildly excited about it. I thought it was a really cool round. And it's reaffirmed that. It's strengthened that, I guess I could say. It's definitely not changed my mind on that. It's been better. Dropped a Hammerly Force straight pull 22 yesterday versus the trusty old Brownie Buckmark. So been 2 drops over the last couple of days. Got another drop scheduled, I think, for Friday. Going to do a special edition podcast tomorrow with a dude that's into like gold and silver and coin collecting and stuff.
Is it Rick from Pawn Stars?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not gold and silver. No.
Well, you said gold, cool. Silver. I was like, hey,
that would be cool.
Rick.
No, I can't try to remember.
Let's go get Chum Lee. Let's go get Chum. I mean, it better be a better podcast.
Department of it might be, but Department of
Corrections.
Department of Numismatics is the guy's channel.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, he wanted to talk. I was on a podcast talking about the investments, gun investment side of things, and how guns and ammo were a good investment. And so that intrigued him because he was into the whole gold and silver and coin thing for investment. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not opposed to people buying gold and silver and coins. Let's get on and have a chat about that sort of stuff. So we're going to do that tomorrow. High noon.
Ooh, these are the high noon shootout. Okay.
High noon Central Standard Time, baby. Yeah, we're gonna do that tomorrow. So got about 4 days of looks like potentially clear weather. Still got tons of cleanup work and stuff to do around here, but in betwixt all of that, hopefully get some more videos knocked out.
There you go. Go check out Chris from the 740. Go check out CloverTech and go check out AndersonManufacturing.com. Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks for the chat. It was a fun chat. Thanks for all of your guys' comments and stories and all that. If you're watching this in a replay or listening to some podcasts, we do invite you to come over to the YouTube channel every Tuesday night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern to join us live. Be part of the live conversation. There's some really great people that are here every week in our chat. You get to meet some new people, have a conversation here. If you like listening to this in replay or on podcast, I think you'll really enjoy it, maybe live. So we do invite you to do that every Tuesday night at 7 Central on the Ghost Tactical channel. Like I said, if you're listening to podcasts, go ahead and rate, review, and share. We do appreciate that. Go check us out on the Self-Defense Radio Network and the Firearms Radio Network. People like CloverTech are over on Firearms Radio Network and some great other people as well. Chris, are you on there? Is the 740 show on there yet? We need to get you on there.
Not yet.
We need to get you on there. But there's some great podcasts over there and all that. Thanks to Kyle, to Chris, and to Clover for coming on. I do really appreciate it. Get to the range. Be more proficient with your firearms. Make sure you're staying in touch with all the local, state, and federal 2A legislation. Make sure that your elected representatives are doing their jobs. And if they're not, guess what? 2024 is an election year. We can take care of that shit real quickly. We need to take care of that shit real quickly. Most importantly, man, just get to the range and enjoy your freedoms of being an American, one of which is to keep and bear arms. We'll see you next week. Semper Fi.